Hello there, it's Jessie here. Welcome to the channel. If you're coming back, big warm welcome and a hug. And if you're completely new and you clicked on my face, I believe there is a reason. I might say something that might slot into place for you. Maybe. So welcome everyone. How are you doing? Did you have a nice weekend? I disappeared. I went off the map for a few days. I've been menstruating. I had a lot to let go of this past month. My goodness. So I was just taking time for myself, which was very needed. Whew. I'm extremely charged up today. I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of ideas flying around. I'm going to attempt to share them with you. And something's just popped into my head that I also need to confess to. Because I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and the person who was speaking said quite early on, they started talking, they said, wait a minute, I'm not here to explain myself or justify myself or defend myself to anyone. And then they just kind of stopped and just went back to the content. And it made me think, I really am here. In many ways, I still have a part of me that feels like I need to defend my existence and justify the things I say and why. And I am very much looking forward to the point where I don't feel I have to do that, but also being honest about where I'm at, I do. So again, me defending myself about defending myself. If I come across defensive, now you know why. Okay, had a very interesting morning today. So I came back the house, my sister's staying with me at the moment and a friend, and I just sort of unloaded this frustration that I had onto my sister. And it's a pattern that I've finally noticed that I do with her from our childhood, which is where I unload basically any sort of intense emotion that I am finding difficult to hold. I really unload it onto her. She was always, this happened in childhood. She was like the vessel. So my brother used me, and then I used Zita. Oh God, she's so beautiful. And anyway, I've just sort of noticed that's what I do. Noticed it the other day, apologized and said I'm going to try really hard. And then I was in a pretty triggered state, and I did it again. And it was very interesting because she took herself away, and I was with my friend, and I was like, I need to go see Z because I've realized I did the same thing again. And she was doing how she deals with triggers, which is by retreating and then almost trying to resolve it within herself as if it's her fault and she's the problem. Anyway, I hope I'm not speaking too much for her experience here. But I will have to ask her and see if I can upload this video. But anyway, maybe I should just start again and take out the names. I'll ask her. I think she'll be okay with it. Because it's all in service, actually. Okay, doubt, step aside. So then I went to her, and my friend came, and we were all talking together, and we said, okay, let's address this. And where we kind of got to with it is I am very reactive in my responses, and my twin sister is very repressed in her responses. And it's fascinating to see, because if you're into astrology, we have exactly the same birth chart. We were born a minute apart. But we live, we're different people. Obviously, there's a personality, there's a spark somewhere as well that's beyond just the astrology and the planets and the influences, blah, blah, blah. But we have exactly the same. So there's current themes in our life, but they're always different in how we respond. So I'm reactive and she's repressed. So what happened this morning is I was being incredibly reactive, and then she went and repressed it and took it inward. And so we started talking about this balance, because I was saying as somebody who's reactive, I don't have a fear of confrontation. So if somebody's reactive to me, that doesn't ignite fear in me. I actually find it quite helpful in a way. Obviously, I'm a reactive person, so I'm going to see the benefit of it. But for me, if somebody is confrontational and we're confronting things, that we get to the truth much quicker. The truth, the relative truth. We get to the heart of the matter much quicker, because when you react, you don't censor yourself. You just bloody say what's on your mind, and things reveal themselves. You know, it's like in an argument, oh, you might say things you don't mean. Well, actually, you probably did mean it. It doesn't mean it's true, but you meant it, right? So I appreciate confrontation for that reason, because I think we don't censor, and we get to where the point we're actually feeling much faster. And my sister made the point, well, is that a rule of thumb? And it really stayed with me, this question, because I don't think it is. It's how I choose to be in the world. I don't think it needs to be how everyone chooses to be. And interestingly enough, she's resistant to being reactive because she's been on the receiving end of it, and she knows how it makes her feel. So there's this other layer of like, well, I'm not just going to react out because it hurts people's feelings. And, you know, the three of us were talking, and we really got to this point of how balance is so needed in everything. So it's not one extreme or the other extreme, but actually finding that balance so we can both learn from each other. See, she can learn to be more reactive and, you know, just actually saying how she's feeling in the moment. And I could do with a little bit of actually holding it in a little bit and not, you know, putting it out onto another person. And it, you know, the conversation kept going, and we were seeing like how reactivity it's provoking the reaction. It's attempting to provoke the reaction in the other person. And it's almost like, so I've heard this thing before and I've seen it and I've experienced it. When you sit in a circle with people, and you're sharing or whatever, and you have something to say, but you don't say it, somebody else in that circle will say it, because it's life force actually, or like an energy or an expression of consciousness wanting to come, and you feel it bubble up inside of you, and if you don't repress it, then it moves and it will be expressed somewhere else. And I saw it the same in this dance of like reactivity and repressed energy, or we did, I should say, of how when if you know, it's like when you get annoyed by somebody who's not like doing something that's easy for you to do. So my reactivity is attempting to provoke a repressed person to react. It's like we're finding that balance, right? And for me, in this moment in time, I still see more value in reactivity, but just because I think it's faster. I think if we all repress and then you go and take it away, it depends on your makeup, but for me it's a longer process than if it's just said and then we can deal with what's been put on the table. So that's my argument for reactivity in this moment in time. And if you have ideas or thoughts on the contrary, please share. I was just gripping my hand so tight. Calm down, Jessie, calm down. So it's like when you see in nature is constantly moving towards a state of balance. And it does go one way to the extreme and the other, but it's constantly attempting to find a state of balance, because that's what life is. That's what nature is. It's the way that we keep moving. And I think we as humans, we're doing this to each other, of attempting to, you know, being reactive to provoke reactivity in somebody who's more repressed, and the repressed person probably thinking, but my way's better at being, can't you be more repressed, in an attempt to show them that they could hold back. And really we're just dancing this dance to reach balance, to reach freedom of expression in whatever way you see best to do that. It was really, really beautiful insight for me. And let me just check my notes. yeah, and then the conversation went a bit further. But I actually feel like leaving it there for now. And perhaps I'll go to the other stuff at another date. So that's a wrap, folks. If you saw value in this video, give me a thumbs up. That's a really nice way to show me that it helped. Let me know down below your thoughts on being reactive or repressed, or like finding that middle ground. And if you like the channel and you like me and you see where this is going, hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Alright guys, feels like an abrupt ending, but I want to be abrupt today. Lots of love. Bye.